I call this photo Gingerbread Joy, and I have been gingerbreading since 1996. You could buy a $4,000 custom home gingerbread house, $15,000 playhouse for your kids, follow a template, and make your own gingerbread house, which is what I like to do. Gingerbread houses can be competitive, they can be centerpieces, or they can be teeny tiny little elements to a greater project. I made a pastillage mini for a larger cake project when I was in school and worked as an instructor with students to design and execute a life-size gingerbread house. The dead dough, gingerbread shingles, isomalt windows, and gum paste decorations made this entire thing edible. Cookie sales benefit from a blank gingerbread house wrapped up very pretty for sale. You can buy gingerbread houses in pre-made boxes, you can use graham crackers, or you can make your own dough. Gingerbread dough has 3 jobs. 1, to be strong and hold its structure. 2, to not become misshapen during baking. And 3, to provide a really pretty backdrop of color. A strong dough has less invert sugar, less molasses, and less liquid. If you roll it out too thin, it will be fragile, and if you roll it out too thick, it will be heavy. Spread in a cookie is caused by 2 things. The first is when you add too much air during the creaming phase, and the second is how it is baked. The dough must be ice cold and directly on a tray. If you use an insulator like a Silpat, you will get more spread. I keep the cookie cutter design simple. I've had my cutters for years. I found that when people decorate their own house, they're not as concerned with an elaborate design as they are with how many different kinds of toppings and candies they get to use. Getting a really nice sharp edge and corner begins when you cut the dough. The way that you lay it on the tray and how you clean it up affects the final product. The only time you can trim the dough out of the oven is while it is still hot. Otherwise, you risk breakage. I cool them on a rack with airflow so the moisture does not get reabsorbed. If you like, you can use a microplane to clean up the edges. I don't mind that they're a little wonky. I like to fill it in with some good, real egg white royal icing. It dries like cement. If your dough is soft enough, a T-pin is the best tool for holding your house together while the royal icing dries and solidifies. I know that people in my house like to have a side yard or a front yard, so I position the house on the cake stand in a way that I think will give them lots of room to work. If your icing is runny at all, you are going to struggle with the house construction portion. Make sure that it's dry enough to hold its shape immediately. I use a damp finger to clean up the royal icing on the seams and damp clean towels and paper towel to clean up the house in general. I leave the edge finishing to the gingerbread house decorator. They get to choose how the entire thing looks and feels. The cake stand is actually very wobbly. In order for your gingerbread house to dry very firm, it needs to be undisturbed. So find a place where it will not get bumped for at least 24 hours. I've been collecting candy and food products that I think will look good on gingerbread houses for weeks now. I've been working on my own gingerbread house with a woodland theme. I collect ingredients that are in the browns, creams, and dark green category, so you can do any theme your imagination dreams up. I pre-fill and tie all of the pastry bags with royal icing, divvy up the decorations in deli cups, and put them all aside until we're ready to decorate. You can make it a competition or a thoughtful, creative outlet. It's gingerbread joy, and I live for this moment every single year.